Welcome to the Speculative Fiction Cantina with your host, S. Evan Townsend.
And hello, everybody. This is S. Evan Townsend. Welcome to the Speculative Fiction Cantina, your weekly hypodermic injection. And today we have an artist who writes and a musician who writes. This is going to be a little bit different than our usual fare. Please welcome Sarah Deutsch, who's the artist, and songwriter and performer, Sarantos. Hello, Sarah and Sarantos.
Hello.
We're doing good here. Now, if you'd like to speak with either of our guests or ask a question, you can call 347-945-7246. That's 347-945-7246. Press 1, and you'll be put in the queue for going on the air. And if you'd like more information about my guests and links to their websites and links to their books, please visit my blog at blog.sevenTownsend.com. Or you can just go to my website, hit blog, and there it is. So, Sarantos, you're a musician and a performer, but you're writing a book. Tell us about the book.
The book is kind of really wanted to try to do something original and unique. Based in the Chicago area, and I'm releasing a new song and music video every month, always trying to interact with the fans. And I thought it'd be really, really cool. I've always wanted to write a book. And I love the fiction fantasy genre, and I figured, you know what better time for my first book? And what I decided to do, when people get hooked on some of their TV shows, they watch it every week, and I really tried to have kind of a cliffhanger ending at the end of every chapter, because I'm releasing a chapter every month, and I've paralleled the chapter to the song. So, for example, the first chapter was for the song Not Where I Want to Be, and I tied in the chapter for that theme and setting. So it's basically one book, but each chapter ties into the song. So I thought it'd be really cool and creative and something no other singer-songwriter has ever done. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
That's very interesting. So is the name of the book Not Where I Want to Be? Or does it not have a name yet?
The first album is called Not Where I Want to Be, and the first book is called Not Where I Want to Be.
Oh, that's very interesting. And then where can people see that you say you're releasing these? This is on your website?
Yes, so every month, obviously, they can sign up for the free email list, but everything is on my website, with www.melogia.com, and you can hear every song for free, watch every video for free, and you can read every chapter for free. So click on the book chapter, the PDF pops up with the book, with the pictures, so they can read it for free.
Cool. That's very interesting. I want to ask you about the pictures, because I saw. Are you drawing those yourself?
No, the pictures I'm not. The pictures I actually work with someone that helps me animate them, the characters for what I envision in my mind. So I do have help on that.
You're a very talented guy if you're also drawing the pictures.
I'm not that good of an artist. No, I can sketch and do some stuff, but no, I'm not that good.
Okay. Sarantos, you're writing this book, and it's coming out one chapter a month. Are you eventually going to put the whole thing together and publish it, or are you just going to leave it on your website for free?
No, absolutely. Yeah, my intention is, I started everything January 2nd, but the book thing, even though I had the idea, it took me a little while to work on it, so I'm not caught up yet. So, for example, the first CD is out, all 11 songs are out. I actually just released the Christmas CD too, but the chapter, I'm only up to chapter 6. So as I catch up over the next month or two, my intention is by next January, February, to just do it every month, and then at the end of the year, when the new CD comes out, the new book is published and is on Amazon and everywhere. So this first book is going to be a little bit late. Obviously, it's not out now. It'll probably be out January, February is what I'm intending to do.
So January, February coming up next month or the month after that, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. When do you have this all planned out, or do you just write it one chapter at a time and go from there? Do you have an outline of what's going to happen in the future chapters, or do you just wing it?
To be honest with you, I essentially wing it, but what I'm kind of trying to do is the CD does have a theme and the music, and I write all the lyrics myself, and that happens first. So even for next year's CD, I am pretty much almost done with all of the I'm done with all the lyrics, but almost with all of the songs for next year. And once I finished all the song, the lyrics, everything, then I start looking at the book. And I start kind of each chapter, I have a basic idea for what I want the whole book to do, but each chapter I kind of focus it on the song too. So if there is a phrase or a couple phrases, I try to work those into the story too. And I haven't decided if next year's book is going to be a continuation of this year's book, because I've gotten some good feedback on it. I am going to continue this book. I'm just not sure if it's going to be next year. So I haven't decided yet if each year the book is going to be completely different or if it's going to be based on the same story, the same characters, and a continuation.
That's very interesting. Sarantos, you mentioned this, and I want to ask you about it. You have a Christmas CD coming out. What's is it like traditional Christmas songs or original works? Tell us about your Christmas CD.
The Christmas CD actually just came out, I think, Friday, on Black Friday, and it entails 23 tracks. So it's a 2-CD collection, and it basically has 4 original songs, completely original and new. It's got 10 covers for Christmas classics. What I did for the last 9 tracks, which I thought was, again, unique, is I did some Christmas short stories. So things like Twas the Night Before Christmas, A Christmas Carol, classic Christmas stories, I actually read them. So it's a reading with some cool special sound effects, and kind of thought, what would families want to listen to if they had a kid? Again, I thought it's pretty unique and cool, and it's gotten some pretty cool reviews, so I'm excited about it.
Great, good to hear that. So that sounds like a really fun CD, and that's available on your website too, or people can find out about it on your website?
Yeah, it's for sale, like all the music on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere, Facebook. But on my website, there's an opportunity for people to purchase like the exclusive CD where they get a chance to be in a music video and spend a day with me and all sorts of other goodies. So they can get a signed hard copy as well as all the videos and everything if they purchase it on the website. But otherwise, they could purchase digitally everywhere, Amazon or wherever they prefer.
Great. I'm sort of jealous because you can write music, and I've always wanted to write music in my life. And every time I try to write music, I realize I'm stealing from the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or somebody that I like to listen to. Oh, this tune sounds familiar. Oh, yeah, it's A Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. What do you love about writing music?
What do I love about it?
Yes.
It's hard to describe. I just love, first of all, I think I just love writing in general. I mean, I started from as long as I can remember, and I think the songs were kind of coherent by 4th grade, and I've literally written thousands of songs. So I just love writing, and sometimes it gets to the point I can't turn it off. I will literally try not to write for like a week or two because I could literally write like 10 songs a day. And after a while, a movie you watch, a book you read, anything, like 2 words you hear, all of a sudden your mind goes racing and you just empathize with a person and you put yourself in a certain situation and write a song about something that you might really have never experienced in your entire life. And then on the flip side, some of the songs I write are exactly about me, exactly about something I'm going through. And I think the challenge as a writer in anything is you want other people to relate. So when I write a song, sometimes, this isn't a radio hit. And being an independent artist, I don't want to say I don't care, but I kind of don't. You can experiment. You can write things that might not ever be played on the radio, but you don't necessarily follow the rules. And it's the same way with my book writing. I don't have a publisher. I don't have somebody telling me, hey, this isn't going to appeal to this demographic. It's not going to. And I understand all that. I understand what sells. Marketing definitely works. But I think in terms of the music, some songs you are writing something that you want to be a radio hit. It's a dance song. It's a jazz song. It's whatever. But sometimes you could just be yourself and write something that is exactly about your life. And maybe it's not going to relate to all the 14-year-old teenage girls out there, whereas another song, might relate to 50-year-old people. You can kind of be yourself, and I think there's something to be said for that. Not every song, not every book has to be the same. They don't all have to appeal to the same demographics and sound the same and have the same suspense and have the same. And I think that's the key. I don't think we should ever limit ourselves to writing the same type of book over and over. I think we should experiment and test our boundaries.
Yeah, I totally agree. When I write a book, I don't say, is this marketable? I say, is this a good book? and hopefully it's both. But
yeah.
maybe.
And you might change it sometimes. You might get to a certain part where you're like, I mean, you can tweak a little part of it to say, hey, I want this to be a little more general term. But some things you really stay true to yourself. You say, no, you know what, I want this song to be about, for example, next year I have a song that's called The Veteran that is obviously about people who have served their country, and that's not going to necessarily appeal to a 15-year-old boy. But I think, again, the message is it's a specific song about a specific topic, and sometimes that's okay.
Do you find it challenging to write both music and fiction? It sounds to me like they meld so well together that it's not challenging, it's actually inspiring.
Everything is a challenge. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, yeah, I'm always inspired and it comes easy and it doesn't go through a million edits. I mean, it does. But I think as a kid growing up, we all have stories we latch on to and love. I mean, I definitely love Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and I've always said, wow, it'd be great to write this kind of story. And it'd be great to, and this is kind of an opportunity for me to do that, but in the same token, do something I think that's never been done, is to tailor it to each song. And I've read some biographies that some of the other artists have had, and some of them are written by them, some of them are not, but I just think it's the coolest thing in the world to be able to do a little bit of both. And again, I'm not expecting to win any kind of award or expecting to sell millions of copies, but whatever it is, I think at the end it'll be a polished product. Can't tell you if it's going to fall in the 99th percentile or the 50th percentile, but just something I've wanted to do, and I think it definitely is a unique story, if nothing else.
Great, thank you. Do you have a reading for us?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Okay, yeah, I thought I would read from the second chapter called Nothing to Hide.
Okay,
Hello?
Go ahead.
Sarantos always had trouble sleeping, and tonight was no different. Something felt like it nudged him and had awakened him from a deep sleep. He stared into the darkness. It was 3 a.m. It had been 3 months since he felt that incredible enlightenment from the dream he had on his 30th birthday. There was the moment his world had changed. He changed. However, something still felt out of place, and the more he thought on it, the further away it danced. Sometimes, in the quiet of the night, he would try to figure it out until it lingered on the edge of his mind, teetering back and forth. He eventually had to let it go, or he would drive himself mad. Sarantos felt sure this lingering thought had once again disturbed his peaceful dreams. His inner spirit had finally awakened during that dream and pushed him into embracing that strong, artistic personality that had laid dormant within his heart for far too long. 2 months ago, he had approached his childhood friend, Brad, and explained what he'd intended to accomplish over the next year. His vision had become a creative sanctuary, and Brad was totally on board. His friend was open-minded and an accomplished musician, playing a mean bass guitar and loving every minute of it. He could go to the zone where complete expression became one with man and instrument. They were like brothers and had shared many other interests over the years. It was great to be moving in the direction of where he wanted to be, and sharing it with his best friend was an added bonus. Now, he felt more alive than ever before. These past several months had been awesome. Sarantos and Brad had managed to set up a website, put lyrics to music, and hire a manager. Today, they were going to interview different talents to put together a band. Brad would be over around 7 that morning. It was a big day, and Sarantos couldn't wait. He smiled and allowed his thoughts to roam, and before he knew it, he was sitting up, writing down a new song. A hint of light was peeking through the curtains by the time his pencil stopped moving. He looked at the clock. It was already 6:30. Their first interview was at 8 a.m. He'd better get moving. So that was kind of the introduction to the second chapter, and I thought it would kind of give people an idea of the story and kind of what it entails.
Great. Thank you for sharing that with us. That was so you're sort of a character in your own novel?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the main character is Sarantos.
Cool.
I wanted to ask, did you have a song that goes with that?
Yeah, the second song for this second chapter is called Nothing to Hide. People can watch the music video, and the lyrics are on the website too, but the basic premise is, in terms of the song, there is a guy who his significant other constantly keeps accusing him of cheating on her. And at the end of the day, if you watch the video, there's a little twist at the end. He's not really cheating on her. There's no other woman. It's all his music. His music is what he's doing in all his free time, and anytime she seems to quote-unquote bust him, it's his passion. And he's tired of hiding his passion. He doesn't want to hide it. So that's why the song is called Nothing to Hide. And the charity for this one that I pick a different charity for each song, is the American Lung Association, because I still have asthma, and up until 2 years ago, it was pretty significant where I was on a steroid inhaler, and I felt like people with asthma and inhalers, they kind of feel paranoid. I'd go to the bathroom and take a puff of my inhaler, and I felt like that was wrong. People that can't breathe shouldn't have to hide the fact they have to take their inhaler. So that was kind of the inspiration to why I picked that charity for that song.
Yeah, this is what I love about talking to all these writers is you find out what's behind the writing, and it's always interesting. So, Sarantos, do you have a special place where you write your music and your fiction?
I kind of have the same answer everywhere. I think at some point, I used to write exclusively on notepads and paper, and then several years ago I digitized everything, all my songs, everything, poems, anything I had ever written. And I think at this point, most of it is probably starts on my iPhone, where jot something in notes and then eventually, work on it. And then eventually when I really have the basic idea and the premise, then I end up doing it on my computer. I sit on my computer, it just flows better, and then don't look at it for a week and then kind of look at it again and tweak it and edit, and that's kind of most of the time what ends up happening.
Yeah, everything's going digital. It's amazing, but it's so much easier to produce digitally than I can't imagine back, writing novels by hand and editing them by hand and having to recopy them by hand, and
I agree.
No wonder it's 50 years to get a novel out, And I don't know if it's true or not, but I read, or I seem to remember reading that Huckleberry Finn was the first novel typed on a typewriter. Mark Twain. I'm not sure that's true or not. Sarantos, is there anything you have planned in the future that we haven't talked about already?
I'm always trying to think ahead, and I think when I look at what I hope happens in the next year or two, obviously, I would definitely like to tour, get the message out to the world. That's probably the biggest thing on my priority list. And as I tell everybody, plan on doing this till the day I die. So I'm going to keep putting out a song every month, hopefully a music video and a chapter also. And hopefully people come along for the ride. And I think it'll be, a great journey for all of us.
Yeah, when you find your passion, there's no such thing as retirement. It's
true. No reason to stop.
There's no reason to stop. Do you have a favorite place to relax?
I do. I love, probably my most favorite thing is outdoors. I'm in Chicago area, so if there's a little snow falling, I think it's beautiful. But the summertime beach, I think probably my favorite place that I can think of outdoors is in Greece. There's a village by Tripoli where my dad was born and raised called Thana that's up on the mountain. It's got a beautiful view. The air is incredible. I went there a bunch as a kid. I went there about 2 years ago, and I hadn't gone there for a long time until then. And it's an amazing place. It's amazing how well you can sleep there, and it just is very relaxing for me. And I'd love to be able to go there more frequently.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Email me the name of that place. No. That sounds really great. So, is there anything you want to add before we just call it a night?
I guess the first thing is thank you for having me on your show. I hope your fans have as much fun time as I did. The one thing she mentioned that I think is so true and is lacking in our society, when I was growing up, there was a lot of respect for elders, getting up, giving them your seat on the bus and that kind of thing. And I do think hopefully our society evolves back to a more respectful tone, to the elderly, and in that light, the sick people also, because there's nothing wrong with being nice to people and realizing that when we're healthy, whether we're 50 or 40 or 30, it doesn't take that much extra effort to just be nice to people, because you never know when you're going to be in a situation. You just want people to always be nice to you and respectful, just like the same way you hopefully are to them.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Words of the advice.
Hey, that sounds like a famous quote.
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere before. I would like to thank both my guests, Sarah Deutsch and Sarantos, for being on today. This has been a fun, interesting, a little bit different than our normal program, but we stretched our wings and stretched our minds, and I think this was a great program. Again, thank you for being on the show. Anyway, if you want more information on both these artists, it's on my blog, and again, that address is blog.s7townsend.com, or you can go to my website, s7townsend.com, and click blog at the top or at the bottom, or you can Google s7townsend.com, and my website should be the first thing that comes up. Thanks again to my guests, thanks to my listeners, and good night.